I'm going to shoot each one of these scopes and tell you why each one is better than the last. The first scope is from CV Life. I got this from Amazon. It is made in China. Now it does come with these see-through aluminum rings. I opted not to use these rings. I went ahead and put a better set of rings on it because the purpose of today is to show you how well a scope performs, not the system performs. So we've got a fantastic rifle with the TC icon, chambered in 308. We are going to start with what I consider the lowest end scope that you guys can buy. $50. The power range here, as you can see, goes from 4 to 16 power. It does have an illuminated reticle. Then it also has hand click adjustable turrets. Not a bad looking scope. It's got an adjustable objective here. So out at 100 yards, we can fine tune this. But today's conditions are going to be tough on any optic. We have warm temperatures, we have snow that is melty, we have a lot of fog in the air. So if you want a real life evaluation, we're about to get it. All right, got everything tightened down. Got our adjustable objective that goes down to 10 yards up to infinity. Got that set at 100. We're going to go ahead and get the gun sighted in, evaluate the clarity, but we also want to see how well the turrets track here. So after we get our group dialed in, we're going to track to the right and track down and see if the clicks correspond with how the bullet moves. We just got the CV Life sighted in off camera, and I will say it's sighted in very quickly. The turrets were positive clicks. They seem to track very well. What I did like is these turrets pull out and then they move and then they pop back in, so the turrets actually lock. So if you were carrying this in the field or you put this in and out of a gun case, these turrets actually lock into place. Kind of a nice feature. So overall, fairly pleased right out of the gate. Let's see how she groups. Well, absolute center bullseye in the first shot. Let's see if she stays there. So the group size looks like through the scope, about 1 inch. It tracked a little bit left and right, which could have been me shooting. Definitely within the performance standard of the rifle. So this gun was shot at the factory. So this gun has the capability with the Hornady ammo here, the Precision Hunter, to shoot a 1/2 inch. The clarity of the scope is a little milky, but it's not bad because I have to tell you the fog out here is crazy. So, and it's changing. So just from the first shot to the third shot, the fog definitely got more dense. Of course, some of it could have been a little bit of mirage or heat coming off the barrel. No point of impact change that I could see. So in other words, the turrets, once they were locked in, they did not move from the first shot to the third shot. The eye relief is a little bit critical here. We don't have a really good ocular lens as far as there's like a really tight sweet spot, but when you find the sweet spot, I can see clearly. But if you don't hit that, you start to get that little halo on the edge and a little bit of that black ring. But it's a $50 scope. Definitely putting on higher quality rings have made a difference. I've shot this brand of scope in the past and I've been a little bit more disappointed in it, but putting on the better set of rings, I think, has stepped it up a notch. So now we're gonna go move and shoot 2 inches to the right, 2 inches down. So the dime is in the absolute center. And I'm gonna go shoot for that right now and just see how well these turrets track. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how well it tracked. All right, here we go. So aim at the same diamond, the upper left, hoping to hit the center of diamond. All right, so actually did remarkably well. Not perfect by any means. So the height probably tracked within 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch. It looks like a 1/2 inch high and 1 inch to the left. So we were moving at 2 and 2, and it tracked about 80% perfect. So really not bad with it. It's very easy to walk it in. Now, if I was shooting longer range, remember, this is at 100 yards. If I were to go to 200, it would double that. So if I was counting on this turret to go hit steel or shoot an animal, you know, whether it was, you know, a prairie dog or a varmint or something of that nature, or even deer hunting, I would be slightly off, but pretty impressive. Clicks were audible, sounded really well. Like I said, the optical system is 100% usable. Is it crystal clear? Not in these conditions. Maybe if the sun was out, it would be a different situation, but given these hazy conditions, I expect some of the other scopes to perform better. So let's see how they do. So this is a Vortex Viper HD 2.5 to 10 by 42. Vortex has a fantastic reputation in the industry. Very, very nice packaging. Look at that. They do have a lifetime guarantee that they back up. Everyone that I know who has ever had a Vortex has been very pleased in the event that they needed customer service. Most of the times they never do. And they also have a series of scopes that are at different price points, you know, going anywhere from $200 to $1,000. The Viper HD right here falls in at about $500. You can see very compact scope. Remember what I was saying before, that the more money you spend on the scope, the better the optical system, the more they can put the technology in to reduce the overall footprint. And these are, by the way, their rings, which are also very, very nice. As you can see on the top of the rings, they put down the torque specification. So when I put the rings on, they mounted really well. I'm expecting this scope to really, really perform well. I've shot them in the past. And I would say from a value perspective, Vortex has it really figured out. The CB Life went up to 16 power. I was shooting it at 10 power. I'm going to shoot this at 10 power, trying to keep everything pretty much in line, scope to scope to scope. But I can tell you the clarity on this as a percentage, maybe twice as clear. The absolute edge-to-edge resolution is fantastic. It's a crosshair with hash marks, both vertical and horizontal, to give me bullet drop and give me windage compensation. I mean, I can read the fine print on the Hornady target at 100 yards with this. So let's put some rounds down range right now, get this sighted in, and go shoot the same drill. All right, we got the Vortex sighted in, off camera here. Click adjustments, absolutely perfect. Clarity, a lot better. Overall, just compact design, really robust looking. It's just a overall fantastic scope so far. See how well she groups. Okay, half inch low. Okay, so first shot, I'm gonna take responsibility for that one. It's about a half inch low. Maybe about 3/4. The other two shots are touching at 100 yards. Had nothing to do with the scope. I was just not into the rifle like I should have been, but this gun absolutely prints well. I don't know what to say about the scope. The clarity, the edge-to-edge brightness is fantastic. The other thing I like about this is it's got a bigger ocular lens, so my field of view feels bigger, which I believe it is. So great field of view, great clarity. The click adjustments, you know, were really good. As you can see, you have turret caps on here, so you don't have external knobs. So you got to take the turrets off, which I think is really good for rugged and hunting. I'm not going to bump or disturb anything. So a little bit different design application than the CB Life. But let's go ahead. We know these are hitting perfect. And I'm going to click this the same way I did before. So we're going to go down. Very positive clicks, not audible like the CB Life, but very positive. We'll take one shot at the center, see how well it tracked. Darn near perfect. I would say, maybe, I don't know if it's a half inch to the right, 1/4 inch to the right. So it tracked, you know, fantastic. Obviously, 100 yards, a little bit of a wiggle. Again, looking through all of this fog, you know, Vortex scope. I mean, great warranty program on this for lifetime. Everything tracked well. Clarity is good. Love this ring system here. Definitely more robust. than the other rings we had. It clamped down really well. So what you get from going from $50 to $500 is worth every penny. So Leupold is an American-made company in Oregon. I have a lot of experience with Leupold. I have never been let down at all by their optics, the durability, the clarity, the craftsmanship that goes into these scopes. Now this is your VX5 HD. So this is a 5x zoom ratio. So you can see you go from 3 to 15 power, 44 millimeter objective lens. It does have an illuminated reticle in it as well. And we are running Leupold mounts on this. So this is the standard scope that I use for a lot of my hunts. Just something I've been using for a lot of years. So I kind of have an expectation on how the scope is going to perform. Mechanically, I've always had great performance of them tracking. I shoot their CDS system a lot. So that system allows me to replace this turret on top. You can see their custom dial system up there. So I can actually fine tune the that top turret for elevation for the exact round that I'm shooting. So that's really a nice feature. Again, the more money you spend, you're getting more for it. You're getting better coating on the optical system. You're getting better durability. You're getting better, light transmission through the scope. And then obviously you're getting other features like a CDS system that you wouldn't get at $50 or $500. And it just makes sense, right? When you spend more money, you should get something for it. And obviously just a beautiful overall ergonomic looking scope. It fits well with this rifle. So let's go ahead and get this sighted in and put it through its paces. Perfect. Almost same hole. Same hole. All right, so that's probably my best group. It is stringing a little bit up and down, which is 100% me pushing in or out of the stock. Left and right, zero, absolute zero movement. So group size, it's the tightest. It is interesting to see the $50 scope, 1 inch, dropped to 3/4 of an inch with 500, dropped to a 1/2 inch with 1500. But a couple things to understand about the Leupold here, or any scope that you spend more money for. Your fine adjustments like the ocular lens, you get things really tuned in for your eye. The parallax adjustment here on the side focus helps aid for the clarity, bringing the optical plane in line with your crosshair and your target, so it gives you better ability to place that shot precisely. Your ability to interchange turrets, right, to customize your turrets for your application. Now, the Leupold here is a 30 millimeter scope. The Vortex was a 30 millimeter scope. The CV Life was a 1 inch scope. Now, that gives you more adjustment. It does not necessarily mean that you have better optical clarity, because typically it's the same erector system in a 1 inch as it is a 30 millimeter. So overall, definitely worth the 3 times the expense, going from a $500 to a $1,500 scopes just for the fine tuning of the entire system to your hunting application. So now we're going to go do the tracking. We're going to go move this one 2 inches high and 2 inches to the right and try to put it in the diamond. Now, Leupold in the past has always tracked really well for me, so we'll see if we can hit the red diamond. Perfect. Tracked really well. Overall opinions on the Leupold, absolutely fantastic scope. Tracks well, optically great, a lot of the fine features you'd expect in a $1,500 scope, side focus, illuminated reticle, really fine adjustments on the ocular lens, custom dial system here where I can replace the turrets, good micro adjustments, 5 times zoom ratio. So overall, great performance on this scope. So now we have Swarovski Optic. They are really known for the high quality glass, their lens coatings. I've used their spotting scopes and their binoculars on adventure hunts, and they've been absolutely fantastic. I personally have not had a lot of experience with their scopes. So this will be a great experience for me. This is their Z8i, which is a relatively new scope, 2 to 16 by 50. So this is 8 times power zoom. What we had talked about before, where when you start stepping up in price point, you start stepping up in technology. Gorgeous packaging, which you would expect from the Austrians. Nice lens covers that come with this. So, you know, we do have side focus on here. We do have turret caps that lock in our click adjustable turrets. You can hear them, you can see them. Good tactile feel in that. So let's get the scope mounted up, sight it in, see how she performs. All right, we'll shoot our 3-shot group. The sight-in went very easily. What's nice on these turrets right here, you can lift them up and adjust them back to 0. So you know if you ever have to turn back or forth, you can know where your indicator mark is. The lighted reticle is really cool. So you have a switch here at the top. So off is in the center, dim is to the left. So it's really, really faint. And then it's to the right, it goes bright. And then you have these 2 adjustment pads here that go darker and brighter. And the overall clarity of the scope is insane. But let's see how well it groups. So going into this, I know Swarovski makes some incredible glass. The color resolution stands out beyond anything that I've seen. So kind of put this in reference, the CV Life is like looking at SD television. Then you jump up to the Vortex, now I get HD televisions, like big jump from 50 to 500 in clarity, resolution, and color. And then you go to 4K with the loophole, but now you go to 8K or 10, 12K, whatever with the Swarovski. It is unbelievable. The clarity, the edge-to-edge resolution, but the color brightness, how vivid the colors are absolutely insane. Tightest group I shot. I mean, not that much tighter than the loophole, but just the joy of looking through the glass. But this is why people buy their binoculars and the spotting scopes. We spend a lot of time behind the glass. So now we're gonna go move it 2 inches up, 2 inches to the left, and see how well it works mechanically. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right there in the red diamond. Everything tracked mechanically well. Overall, Vortex, loophole, and the Swarovski mechanically all did what they say they're gonna do. The CV Life, it was close, but it's a $50 scope. So the durability of those 3 brands, Vortex, loophole, Swarovski, is fantastic. Definitely a difference in color and resolution. But let's grab the target, walk you through what we did, and show you the comparison. All right, here's the results. So really the overall group size didn't change dramatically. This was the CV Life. The Vortex, I called that first shot. I just relaxed off the gun a little bit and then put 2 touch in the same hole. The loophole, 1/2-inch group, Swarovski, 1/2-inch group. So from the ability to shoot accurately, the Vortex, the loophole, and the Swarovski were fantastic. But looking through the scope, the optical clarity, the color resolution, I would give an A+ to the Swarovski. But the loophole and the Vortex obviously performed really, really well. Durability-wise, the reputation of Vortex, loophole, and Swarovski are fantastic. Mechanically, they all move well. The CV Life did not move as well, but again, it's a $50 scope. I'm putting that on a plinking rifle. I'm putting it on my kid's gun. It's more of something I'm not gonna take on an adventure hunt. I'm just shooting in the backyard with. So I think the value is there, but once you step up, you can definitely see you're getting more for your money in custom features, whether they're illuminated reticle, side focus, custom dial setups. So each one of these scopes has its place in the market. It's time for the torture test. And yes, we're gonna drop a very nice piece of walnut here in a $5,000 Swarovski scope. Let's see how it holds up. First, flat drop. Oh, that was a good one. now that we dropped it, we'll head back to the bench and see if it held 0. And remember, we clicked it back to where it originally was before, so we're also tracking how well the scope rebounded in the turrets, as well as how it performed on the drop test. Fantastic. Cut the top of the diamond right where I left it, so really, really impressive. And just to show you guys, by the way, that drop test was real. I mean, you saw it. Look, my first little ding on the $5,000 scope. Track's great, obviously super durable, optical clarity fantastic. We're gonna take this off and we're gonna work our way down. So we're gonna put the loophole on next. Oh, good one. All right, back to the bench. Just a touch high, maybe about a ½ inch. Perfect. I'd say after moving the turrets and dropping it, the loophole definitely lives up to its reputation on durability. Now we have the torture test for the Vortex. Definitely a very rugged looking scope, so I expect this one to hold at 0. Right. Ooh, that was a good drop. Look at that. Cracked the stock on it. So if you don't think this is a real test, you're absolutely wrong. Let's see if it holds 0. Cut the black diamond. Held 0 perfect. Hard drop test, moving the turrets. Again, give the Vortex an A+ for durability. Now, the $50 CB Life. Think it's gonna hold 0? Only one way to find out. All right, $50 CB Life. Let's see how she does. Whew. That was a good drop. Right on top of the scope. Took a pretty good beating. Well, let's see if it held at 0. Well, that definitely moved quite a bit. So I was aiming for the upper left diamond and I hit the lower left diamond. So it definitely dropped the point of impact by 5 inches. But when I dropped the scope, it hit right on these turrets. So you can imagine that is a lot of pressure being put on this tube and on those turrets. So the final wrap up in this whole test, for $50 a CB Life, if I'm just putting this on a plinking gun, a kid's gun, an air rifle, something to have fun, where I'm not worried about engaging an animal at a longer range or shooting super precise, it's worth the $50. When you work your way up, from a durability standpoint, just through this drop test and clicking all the scopes around, the Vortex, the loophole, and the Swarovski were almost a dead heat as far as mechanical adjustments. Optically, there is a huge advantage from 50 to 500. The Vortex is super clear, great edge to edge, nice ocular lens, good field of view, good adjustments. Love the rings on these, by the way. Nice job. So I think very durable scope, worth the value proposition there. Go to the loophole, you're picking up better optical clarity, good resolution in low light, bright light. The sun now has come up, all the fog coming out of the snow has lifted, so we got a chance to see how the loophole could perform in that really tough foggy conditions and now in the brighter light conditions. So I think the resolution in different environments is fantastic on the loophole. You pick up the CDS system, you pick up the side focus. So again, it's worth going from 500 to 1500, but by far for the best optical clarity that I personally have seen in any scope, the Swarovski was unreal in how vibrant the colors were. Like the way the illuminated reticle switch was on the top there. And overall, I would say the Swarovski takes the win for bright, clear resolution. Every one is worth it. You get what you pay for, as they say. So you can't go wrong in any of your choices. Head to your local retailer, figure out what's right for you on your rifle.